Well, this is a bit of a difficult one, and I'm not sure what the answer is, if I'm being brutally honest, because there is a bit of tribalism around football that kind of extends beyond the norms of what would normally be acceptable behaviour and so on. And I guess there is a time when you have to think about it a little bit and give it due consideration, right? So I'm talking about the situation with Tottenham fans last week chanting "Rent Boys" at Chelsea. It's been an ongoing thing. It's been happening probably since, well, I guess from the late 80s, 90s, maybe, of when that all kind of come about. And it's been an ongoing thing that's happened, quite a lot. Each club has some kind of derogatory terminology pushed to it where there is a real rivalry. Arsenal we just call scum or gooners or whatever, but certainly Chelsea have ended up with this manacle of either chavs or rent boys, and then you've got West Ham, who are generally referred to with terminology of pikey or something of that sort of nature. We as Tottenham fans have kind of taken the moral high ground to a certain extent because of the anti-Semitic chants and so on, and I'll come into that. But I guess it's a really difficult one. The club are asking us as fans not to use the term "rent boys" because it is a homophobic slur. It makes a lot of the LGBTQ community uncomfortable, and so on. And me personally, as a fan, I would never want to knowingly upset a fellow supporter of my own club, right? I wouldn't want to do that, and I wouldn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. Now, me personally, I've not really got involved with that chant from a purely personal point of view, in the same way that I've never really got involved with the pikey chants for West Ham. I tend to refer to Chelsea as chavs and West Ham as wet spam and stuff like that. Because the reason why, and it's only a personal thing, and this is open to everybody's personal opinion, right? But the reason why I felt like that has mainly been because of taking that stance around the Y word and all the rest of it. Now, I'm a proud advocate of Tottenham fans using the Y word, and I've always argued positively about it. But I've always said that if the Tottenham's Jewish supporters and community wanted us to stop, then I would stop, because I recognise that it was intended to support them. But if they don't feel supported by it and they feel aggrieved by it, then I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to upset my own fans. But from a Chelsea point of view, the Y word isn't really the issue, because that's not, on a personal one-to-one basis, they might call you a dirty yid, whatever, and all that. But generally speaking, it's more about the hissing noises, and the songs of, Spurs are on their way to Auschwitz, for instance. Now, that's kind of stuff that we've had to put up with for years and years and years. From the likes of West Ham and Chelsea, and why the Y word has been really kind of supported and held on to. So I get it, I get it. You want to hit back, and it's tribal and all the rest of it. But if by by utilising another terminology that's offensive doesn't make it right, doesn't give you the moral high ground about how you're feeling about what they're calling you, or how they're treating you. And I think it's something we need to think about, right? You know, not because I want to appease Chelsea. I don't, I don't care if their fans are offended as such. What I care about is whether that's offensive to, my own supporters, my own gay friends that are there beside us, and how they might feel about that, and that will kind of don't disturb me, but kind of makes me feel a bit. But it's a real difficult one, because it's one that goes across all things. Liverpool, for instance. There was a famous song about, in your Liverpool slums and bin dippers and all this kind of stuff. And that kind of goes across the board. There's lots of teams that have that kind of rivalry. And I think it's so ingrained that it will be really, really difficult to stop. You need, proper, decision-making by fans and fans groups to go, what, that's not really an acceptable thing to do. So it's a really difficult one. And I'm not advocating whether you should or you shouldn't use the terms. I'm not advocating one way or the other. I'm just giving my opinion, and pointing out the difficulty with trying to be moral at the same time as doing something equally as, not equally, because that's probably not right either, but you're doing something that is offensive to a group of people that you wouldn't necessarily want to offend on a normal day-to-day basis. It's like the things when they do about Brighton, Brighton fans, and how they are ridiculed and with homophobic slurs and stuff like that, which, again, isn't right, but again, it's tribal and it happens. But you can't sit there in one hand and go, oh well, they're making hissing sounds, so we're gonna be equally as offensive as they are to another group of people who may be offended by it, and feel that you are morally obliged to do that. Personally, for all the times that I've been going football over the years, Tottenham fans have generally sung more about Tottenham than they do about other fans or other clubs. You go West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea, they all just sing, we hate Tottenham, we hate Tottenham, we hate Tottenham, and all the rest of it, right? Well, we don't generally do that. We don't generally go, we hate Arsenal, or anything like that. You might get that occasionally, or stand up if you hate Arsenal, but you don't get that. You don't tend to get that about West Ham or about Chelsea, to be honest with you. I think the other really offensive one is about Marcos Alonso being a murderer, which again, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with. Not about Chelsea, but about the family of the person, and all that. But that's another debate, really, I guess. So I'm just kind of putting out some food for thought, really. We tend to sing about our own club. We tend to sing about our own players and stuff like that. But by using a really offensive terminology doesn't put you in a good position to be able to defend yourself about what's happening, what Chelsea fans are doing, or what West Ham fans are doing, or whoever that might be, in terms of how they speak to you, and so on. So I think it's a difficult one. I think it's right that the club raise it and ask us not to sing it. But I do fear that what it will do is it will spur people on even more to do it, because of the behaviour of Chelsea fans towards us. Again, I know this is a bit of a ramble, and I don't mean it to be, but it is a real difficult scenario, and one that really needs thinking about as to what do we do next? How do we move forward? Just because we've always done it doesn't necessarily mean that we should continue to do it. It's not necessarily right, I guess. As I say, me personally, I've never really been into it, but I understand the reasons why. For me, let's sing about our own team, cheer on the boys tonight, and hopefully let's come away with the win. Up the Spurs.